It's gonna be.
All right, everybody. Welcome to Not a Duck in Any Row Studios, weekly NFL Picks Week 5 edition. I'm Dan Denton, your host of the Blue Collar Gospel Hour, here with my friend Cutty Coastal.
Hello, Cutty Coastal, BS and Viewpoints.
And with our friend Winston.
From BS and Viewpoints.
Hello. Did y'all hear what happened today?
I heard some things happen. What happened today, Cutty?
Bill O'Brien got fired. We talked about 3 dumpster fires, and one of them's already gone. My dumpster fires were potentially the Vikings, but Justin Jefferson does seem to be paying off. I want to say the Vikings did just beat the Texans, so that was their first victory. They were 0-3, and then we always talk about Adam Gase. He'll be next one gone. I think the Vikings might weather it because it's different when you're starting and want to be there. Stephon Diggs did not want to be in Minnesota, so you had to trade him, and you got first-round picks for him. But when you look at the terrible Bill O'Brien was the GM/coach. You really gotta have it together to
Made
do
a
both.
terrible trade.
Multiple. That's not his
multiple.
DeAndre Hopkins is not his first terrible trade. He traded away DeAndre Hopkins and got a second-round pick. DeAndre Hopkins will be a Hall of Famer. Let's just face it. Numbers-wise, he's a top 3 receiver. He's probably on the all-decade team of the 20 teams. He's probably on that because he had a 5 or 6 year amazing run. He's probably on that, and then if not, with the trajectory he's on, he's going to have another at least 4 or 5 good years. You trade away him for a second-round pick. Meanwhile, you traded for Laremy Tunsil, who's a really good left tackle, but he's not a top 3 left tackle, and you gave up 2 first-round picks and the second. You traded away Jadeveon Clowney for a third-round pick. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. The guy that they acquired, they gave away 2 first rounds and a second round. Anybody who knows a lot about the draft or anything about the draft, usually your first through your fourth rounds are going to be your core starters. Every year, your first through your fourth, those picks are going to be starters. 5th, 6th, and 7th are supposed to be contributors. And if you get something like that, maybe you'll hit and, you'll get lucky. But 1 through 4, you traded away 2 really good potentially – because your first round is supposed to be really good contributing starter players with Pro Bowl caliber talent. You just traded away 3 really good potential players for Laremy Tunsil. And then on top of that, when they traded for him, they never restructured his deal. They never re-signed him. So then they had to re-sign him at the end of the season, and the starting price for what he would have got at the beginning of the season compared to the end of the season was an additional $4 million per season. So it's like, contractually, you just shorted yourself $4 million. Then you traded away. You did an abundance of terrible trades, and you really haven't acquired anything. That's why you own 4.
Hey, let me ask you
this.
this.
That's why you unemployed.
Let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
Bill O'Brien.
Yeah.
See if this is a fair statement. Bill O'Brien, okay coach, terrible GM. Fair statement?
Bill O'Brien, terrible GM.
Okay coach.
That's.
I was giving him, he's a 500 coach.
Well,
that's okay.
He went to the
500's
playoffs.
Okay. That's a C average.
He was in a porous division. Jacksonville, everybody knows Jacksonville for a long time wasn't any good. And then they came along with Blake Bortles, and then just as quick as they came, as quick as they left. You got to think. He was there. Should have been easy pickings. Indianapolis, this was the years Peyton was hurt. And then Peyton left. You didn't have a quarterback.
So, but, 500 would be a C average coach, right?
No.
Is the change going to make the Texans any better?
Yes, because sometimes it's addition by subtraction.
Okay, fair enough.
And it's addition by subtraction with Bill O'Brien. He's gone already. He could be an amazing college coach. He was pretty good at Penn State because, from the reports I've been reading, Bill O'Brien was sometimes an in-your-face yeller. And this is what I've learned. You can pull that in college, i.e. Nick Saban, and be vocal and be all in your face. In the NFL, these guys got guaranteed contracts. If a star don't want you in the NFL, you might not be there. Or if the star checks out on you. If the star checks out on you, then sometimes your team can check out on you. You don't yell in no grown man's face and expect to have a respect continuously. So it doesn't work in NFL because they already know their money coming.
But traditionally, NFL coaches make less money than the top echelon college coaches traditionally.
Yeah,
John Gruden's changing the game a little, and
they make less, but still, it's a level of respect. And see, in college, you're trying to aspire to get to the NFL, so you're gonna take that hard.
sometimes,
coaching.
yeah.
Yeah, in the NFL, you already there, and you like, I'm grown. I don't need you yelling at me. I know what I gotta do, and if you don't like it, at the end of the day, you can get rid of me. That's how they do it in the NFL. So it's way different. You don't yell at those.
You got anybody early?
On
Anybody early on your radar prediction for the vacancy there in Texas?
I said this before on last week. Eric Bieniemy should have had a job last year. Should he have a job this year? People should be calling and begging Eric Bieniemy to come. He's an offensive-minded coach. He coaches Pat Mahomes at Kansas City's offense coordinator. I know Andy Reid does a lot of play calling, but Eric Bieniemy hurts, and he does a lot of the schematic work. And he should have already had a job. Colorado, his alma mater, should have begged him to come take that job, and they didn't. So it is what it is. I feel sorry for the Texans because you have a really good quarterback. Numbers-wise, him and Pat Mahomes' numbers before the start of the season were very similar for games played and everything. And then you look at the weapons, you can say Pat Mahomes had way better weapons than he had. Than Deshaun Watson had. I mean, Deshaun Watson had D-Hop, and that was kind of it. You got to think Pat Mahomes had Kelsey, Hill, Watkins. Then they had McCole Hardeman for a little bit. They had Kareem Hunt, and now they got another running back. He never really had that. He just had really one player, and so it's kind of sad because this is this man's prime years. And now you have to go through kind of a rebuild mode because you don't have a first or second round pick this year.
Yeah.
Why? Because you gave them both away for Larry Tunsil. So you don't have a first. So you literally are going to depend on free agents and great draft evaluations to get you the help you need because he's been sacked 16 times in 4 games. You don't want to get. That's an average of 64 times a year. You don't want to get sacked 64 times a year. This is the NFL. Your body will not hold up. Ask Carr what happened when he was at Houston. He was a quarterback, the older brother Carr. Ask him what happened when you get hit that many times. It just your body can't take it. Cam Newton constantly getting hit. Well, he was running the ball, but still constantly getting hit. It doesn't work that well. Your body is not made to take 64. I mean, you get hit more than 64 times, but sacked 64 times. You got to think sometimes you drop back and you throw the ball. As you throw the ball, you're getting hit. So you probably get hit a few hundred times. But he's getting sacked 64 times. That's somebody's body can't physically take that for a long time.
That's not good for a long-term
And he's
career.
not like he's big, but he's not like a 260. He's probably like 230, 225. That's not stout enough to take all those hits. But, yep, R.I.P. Bill O'Brien from the NFL coaching ranks. I don't mean he's dead. Don't shoot the messenger. I saw this coming. Adam Gase, you are now on the clock.
Oh, boy. Tough week for the Bears.
Oh, yeah. I told you.
That Colts defense is really fucking good.
I got in my fantasy team. Yes, they are really good.
Really fucking good.
Yes, they're really good. And it didn't matter if you had Mick Foles, anything short of Jesus, you probably would go with it. It's the team.
So the Bears are up on Thursday night this week.
Yeah, that was the game we're going to pick first with Tampa Tom, who just threw 5 touchdowns. He was probably salivating because, Khalil Mack was hurt. And I'm not even sure if he played. He did play, but he was hurt. So, a short turnaround, get some of those guys who were potentially injured who fought through the play, they probably can't play. So, you lose Khalil Mack and you lose some of that defense. Offensively, we really only scored 3 points. We scored 8 points. The score was 19-11. We scored 8 points at the end. That's called garbage stats. They start playing prevent defense because there's garbage numbers. What Dak Prescott's doing is great for your fantasy, but those are really garbage numbers. We'll talk about that later. You don't put up all those yards and be like, oh, well, he did all this. But when they were losing, he wasn't doing anything. It's when they start getting blown out and teams start playing prevent that we did that. But let's get back to the pick. I'm calling Tampa Tom over our Bears. The Bears going to be 3-2. I just don't see it.
I'm going total homer.
Chicago
all the way.
You should.
Short rest. Tampa Tom's old. He's not going to be ready on 3 days rest. Bears defense is going to gel better. They held Indianapolis to 19 points.
Yeah, it was 4 field goals kicked in that game and one touchdown.
I'm going to take the Bears in a close one.
Okay. Wrong answer, but okay. I'm taking Tampa Tom.
Let's move on. That's an awkward pause because I ain't got a whole lot to support it. So let's keep moving here.
No, I'm gonna give you
Don't
why.
leave me hanging.
This is why Tampa Tom just threw 5 touchdowns. Understand who he has. He has Gronk. He hasn't even emerged in offense, and maybe he never will. Maybe he's just a shell of his former self. They have Cameron Brate, O.J. Howard, which are 2 really good tight ends, plus Gronk, 3 really good tight ends. They have Scotty Miller, which I did pick before. Pick him up on the fantasy. The week I told you to pick him up, he didn't do anything. Then last week he scored a touchdown. You got Chris Evans, Mike Godwin, and Leonard Fournette. They have a stacked offense.
I think Godwin's back.
Yeah, and then on defense you got Shaq Barrett, and you got some other guys. I want to say Ndamukong Suh's on that defensive line. You got some really good players on that defensive line. Even when they lost to the Saints, they didn't give up like 40 or 50 points. They gave up upper 20s. They've been doing well defensively, and Tom is starting to find his footing. He's in a new offensive system. I want to pick the Bears. My heart says pick the Bears, but my mind and my money
You got to follow your heart sometimes.
I did. That's why I got divorced.
Woo-wee. BS and Viewpoints about to be popping tonight.
But it is what it is. I'm picking Tampa Tom
All right.
over the Bears. I kind of feel bad. Uh-oh, here we go. The Bills and the Titans. I'm not even sure we should pick this. Because I don't think it's going to happen. They recently tested, I want to say on Sunday or Saturday night Sunday, and found another Bills player and another Texans player and the more staff. They're up to like 16 total people.
But they might try to squeeze it in on a weird Monday night again.
Nah.
Or Tuesday night. Like they'll try to get it in.
They'll try to get it in. They're going to be testing every day probably.
So if they get it in, who you taking?
They get it in. If you're missing 8 players,
I think it's going to be a good
probably
game.
take the Bills. You're going to be missing 8 players.
I'm going to take the Bills because I don't think even healthy the Titans have enough to contain Josh Allen.
Yeah, he's looking really good.
And that Wild West offense they're playing up in Buffalo. Yeah. Playing with a lot of heart up there.
People, y'all can't see me. I'm throwing up money signs because I got Josh Allen on my fantasy. So I'm throwing up the money signs.
They got the table crashing Bildos up there.
Oh, yeah. Another pick, if you can get him, just due to John Brown being hurt, Cole Beasley. He's available in I want to say 50% of the fantasy leagues. And if John Brown is hurt, he got off. He had over $100 and a touchdown. He had over 100 and a touchdown. I would pick Cole Beasley because everybody knows about Diggs. So Diggs is going to have the coverage rolled up to him frequently. Yeah. So you're going to run the ball. They throw to the tight end. He spreads the ball around. Diggs is still going to get his, but you need that other receiver to emerge, and Cole Beasley is that guy. This year, he's been doing pretty good. So if you can pick up Cole Beasley and you're in a deep league and maybe you need a wide receiver or John Brown's available, pick them up because
John Brown's done well by me when he's healthy.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Deep threat.
The best ability is availability, and sometimes he's not available.
That is true. That's sound, solid fantasy football.
Yeah, because
Cutty Coastal.
Yeah, I'll give you an example. I picked the tight end. I picked Gronk, and he did me well. Till I got to the playoffs, that Gronk was hurt that year.
Man, every year.
Failed. Then
every year.
He would get you 12 amazing games, just another 4.
Gronk will be pulling in the top 10 receiver numbers, man.
Yeah.
Every year tight end.
Then he get hurt, and then it was all over. So if that game does take place, I'm going to pick the Bills.
Me too. We agree.
Next, moving forward, we got the Jags and the Texans. The Texans do have Romeo Crennel as their coach, which, FYI, people, Bill Belichick coaching tree is atrocious. Maybe
Not
Flores in Miami will do well because he's doing pretty good. Maybe he'll get a quarterback.
Promise, yeah.
But Bill O'Brien, you got Romeo Crennel was a coach. You got Josh McDaniels. Who else is in that coaching tree? Charlie Weiss, remember him?
Charlie Weiss, yeah.
He went to Notre Dame, and he had, Bill O'Brien. That coaching tree. Matt Patricia. Oh, man. We're going to talk about him later.
Coach at Tennessee.
Lane?
No.
Not
the Titans.
Lane. Oh, the Titans. Mike Vrabel.
He's from Belichick.
He played for Belichick.
Come on, man.
He played. You know what?
From the
Ohio State
University.
That separates him because he wouldn't work with Urban Meyer. So that kind of gives him a way out. And he never coached.
Fair enough. Hey.
He never coached.
You know what today is? Officially 18 days till Ohio State kicks off.
Oh, yeah.
I've been counting it down.
Excited.
Been counting it down.
Yeah.
All right, man.
We got to do that. But we got the Jags and the Texans. I see no reason to not pick the Jags. I don't care what they go with.
So the Texans ain't getting a little boost, huh? A coaching switch boost? They might be playing with a little more freedom. I'm just playing devil's advocate here. I'm also taking the Jags.
Oh, this is why they won't get a boost. Because even though he left, and I think the internal issues are better because he was a yeller and he would have confrontational meetings with players and try to. That's why D-Hop left. That's why they traded him, because they both got it. They had a heated confrontation, and Bill O'Brien says pretty much, my scheme, I can replace you. Everybody can't be replaced. Ladies and gents, that go for everything. You can't replace everybody all the time. Sometimes it is addition by subtraction, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's subtraction by subtraction.
And sometimes you're just left and holding the short end of a straw.
Oh, yeah.
I think I butchered that cliche.
You did,
Yeah.
but it's all right. Somebody might fix it. But, yeah, I definitely have the Jags. James Robinson didn't do well last week, but
He did not. I started him. I lost. Took my first L in fantasy football. I'm 3-1
lost.
now.
I'm 2-2, but it's because everybody got hurt. I got Austin
Yeah,
Eckler.
and
He
they
got
had
me
games
like 2
canceled
points.
and games postponed.
Yeah,
and made
games
up.
canceled and postponed.
I sat Kelsey, but it didn't matter. He didn't do a lot anyway.
Yeah, I made a big mistake, but I like my last week.
My top 2 picks are out, Godwin and McCaffrey.
Yeah, so it is what it is. But let's move on.
All right.
I don't even want to talk about the Texans
Hell
no
no.
more, because it is what it is.
Sad, sorry state of affairs.
We'll see if Eric Bieniemy gets that job or who gets that job, because Romeo Crennel, although he's off the Belichick coaching tree, he's actually a really good defensive coordinator. I can't see him keeping that job. I want to say, did he coached there before? I know he coached in Cleveland. He's had a few head coaching jobs, and they didn't work out. I know one of them was in Cleveland. And he gets a short end of the stick. Maybe he does need another chance. I just don't think it'll be there at that organization. Next, we have the Bengals and the Ravens.
Bengals, the 1-win Bengals. I picked them last week.
You did.
They won.
Did not.
Burrows is a winner, I'm telling you.
He is a winner.
But
This is Baltimore.
they're playing Baltimore.
And I don't see him winning. I see him.
Lamar Jackson's back to his old ways.
Yeah, Lamar
Had a good
Jackson, if you look at it, he's in the playoffs and versus the Kansas City Chiefs is when he's 0-5, but he has a sparkling record of like 22-3 when he plays anybody else but those.
Does Burrows have any chance of beating Baltimore?
I'm saying there's a chance. The chance is very small.
Like 3% chance?
How much money you got to lose?
$3? $3. How much would I lose on this game?
It depends, because I don't see it. Bengals defense looked slightly better. People are starting to come back around. They healthy. You know, you got a good running back. You got good receivers. You got Boyd. With Boyd, A.J. Green, and you
Burrow's
got
playing
Ross.
with a lot of heart.
Yeah, he's gonna do that. He did that at Ohio State.
He just broke a record, like first rookie quarterback throw 300 yards 3 games in a row or something.
Yeah, but even with that Ravens defense is just completely different.
It's a different animal.
I believe they're still angry after losing to Kansas City, so I got them probably wheeling off several straight.
Yeah, I'm taking Baltimore.
So I'm taking Baltimore, although I think he will put up good numbers.
I think Burrows is going to play well, but yeah, he's going to.
And,
He's up against tough odds.
Yeah, Baltimore is completely physical. They like to run it, and they like to pound you into the ground, and then they like to hit you deep with Hollywood Brown, and that's what I'm thinking is going to happen. Next, we got the Panthers and the Falcons.
Man, the 0-4 Falcons. Another coach on the hot seat.
Yeah,
should be on the hot seat.
I think he's gone.
Should be gone soon.
I give him credit though. He had 9 lives. Because if you look at their record since they lost the Super Bowl, it is. I got one word to say what it is. It is putrid.
Atrocious.
I was going to say atrocious myself.
I was going to say atrocious, but then I thought putrid. And his record is putrid ever since he lost the Super Bowl. Matt Ryan looks like a shell of his former self. Matt Ryan, how you got Calvin Ridley?
How you got Julio Jones, man? They had Austin Hooper.
Yeah, and
they had a defense.
And you still ain't winning. That defense was built
had
on speed.
The other fast guy, Sanu.
Yeah, they had Muhammad.
They had running backs, Tevin Coleman. They had Devontae Freeman.
Yeah, they had a 2-headed
and they couldn't do shit.
Reason why they couldn't do anything because their defense, if you ever look at it, the best ability is availability. You had Keanu Neal and some other guys on that defense that stayed hurt. Where you stay hurt and you're only giving up 8 games a season, sometimes your body fail you. You could be a 5-star talent with 2-star availability, and then if you only go play 8 games in a year, then you might go 6-2 those games. But
matter.
It's the other 8 games that you don't play where you go 1-7, they got you looking at 7-9. And you can't.
It's a lot of math, Cutty.
Yeah, I'm really good at math. But when you look at it, what happens is when you switch people out and you have multiple starting lineups, the NFL has to do this better than anybody. Your team chemistry is paramount. It is essential. You got to have team chemistry. Everybody got to know their job. If you realize the best teams are the teams that have the least amount of injuries because they have that cohesive unit, because it's not like boxing where it's just one-on-one. It's not MMA. It's not even basketball, which is 5-on-5. But if you got 2-star players, it's kind of hard to beat 2-star players. 2 superstar players. Football is about 11-on-11. Everybody has to be on the same page. You're only as strong as your weakest.
That's why the right tackles get paid so much money.
Yeah.
That's why the blindside tackle gets paid a lot.
Yeah, that's left tackle.
You got to protect your left tackle. Yeah, you got to protect your investment.
Yeah, you got to protect the investment. That's how
you can have all the Tom Brady's in the world. Point proven in Philadelphia. You can have all the Wentz's in the world, but if you can't block for him,
we'll get on him later.
We'll get on him later.
Yeah, we'll get on him later. But with that
win Eagles.
But with that being said, I don't see the Falcons winning. I just don't. I mean, this is a division game. Division games, you could almost throw it out the window. It's in Atlanta, so that's
Teddy
another
Bridgewater
good
picked up
thing.
another W.
Huh?
Teddy Bridgewater just picked up another W.
Yeah, Teddy 2 gloves look really good on that run.
Teddy 4 lives.
Yeah, Teddy 4 lives but 2 gloves. Normally wears 2 gloves when he throw the ball even in the dome. Most quarterbacks don't wear that, but I got the Panthers winning.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Panthers also.
I think the Falcons are going to put up good numbers, but at the end of the day,
I feel like Carolina's just with Bridgewater. He's gritty, and Atlanta just is a mess.
McCaffrey's on his way back because they said
I hope
IR.
so.
They said 4 to 6
I need him back.
So I mean, this is coming up on that
another
fourth
game
week.
or two.
I don't know how well he'll be back. Next, we have the Raiders and the Chiefs.
Boy.
Chiefs are 4-0, man.
The Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, I didn't even say Oakland this time. I'm getting better. The Chiefs, I want to say, the last 4 years they've started off 4-0, which is kind of crazy. This is what
Chiefs
they do.
Good.
They start off hot, and then
they
have that lull, and then they try to right the ship at the end.
They're going to get a lull this week.
This is another division game.
It is.
But with this being a division game, it's in Kansas City. They'll have about 11,000 fans for that 70,000 seat stadium.
The Chiefs are looking good.
And the Chiefs are looking good. And the Chiefs, I felt like people asked me, like, well, why the Chiefs, didn't look that impressive in front of the Patriots? Bill Belichick is probably still the premier defensive mind in football, maybe, period, at the schemes he runs. Like, I know Urban Meyer and Nick Saban used to always go pick his brain in the offseason. The other coaches pick his brain in the offseason. He is the still premier defender. He has some. So if you ever look, Kansas City Chiefs never do well in the first half. You go look at Pat Mahomes. Look at Pat Mahomes' first half stats and the second half stats, and then go look at the second half stats. Usually they figure out what they're going to do, and then they'll be able to attack.
I feel like they try to start out running. But then once they get in the second, early third quarter and they start mixing in Mahomes' talent, I feel like this when they take off.
Me too. But
Andy Reid, I feel like he's dedicated to the run, and the run works.
Uh-huh.
They got that good rookie running back.
Yeah.
But it's when Mahomes opens it up a little bit and throws the ball more and then starts dumping it off to that running back when they get real dangerous.
Yeah, when they
I feel like they catch into that mid-stride, middle of the game,
kind
of like you're saying.
They make you defend because the field's 120 yards long. That's end zone to end zone. Back in the end zone, back on the end zone. 53 yards wide. When they make you defend everything, they're really hard to stop.
You got guys like Hill. It's guys like Watkins.
Yeah, but what they do is they start off and they try to slow play you because they don't want to take as many risks because they don't want to put Mahomes at risk. Yeah. So first half, they're like, if we can beat you this way, we're just going to continue to beat you this way.
And don't grind at you.
The second half, they're like, okay, you stopping this? Then we go throw in an attack we can throw. And then usually that's when they usually take off for the most part. And with that being said, the Oakland Raiders got a lot of Las Vegas.
Las Vegas Raiders.
Las Vegas Raiders got
Can't wait to go see them play.
A lot of injuries. And with that said, I think the Chiefs are going to be 5-0.
I'm taking the Chiefs.
Winning.
I'm taking the Chiefs. I think the Raiders are better, but they're just not. It's hard to beat the Chiefs, man.
Oh, it's definitely hard.
You're going to have to be clicking on all cylinders. Division game, but I'm taking the Chiefs.
Yeah, and it's in Kansas City. Hopefully, not too
With
cold.
their 16,000 fans
Oh, yeah. It's
chanting.
Chiefs. Oh. Next, we have the Arizona Cardinals and the New York Jets.
The 0-4 New York Jets.
Man, that is – I told you. I'm already
I
starting.
took the Jets twice, 2 weeks in a row, and they have let me down twice.
I told you. I picked the Broncos, and I was also right about the Cleveland Browns over the Dallas Cowboys.
You were right.
Which I need more respect. But we'll talk about that one later, too.
We'll get to that.
And with that being said, Adam Gase is going to be 0-5. Adam Gase – he really do got 9 lives because every quarterback I've seen him be around has
gotten worse, regressed.
Yes, regressed, pedestrian at best.
Pedestrian at ooh.
So with that being said, I'm calling it.
That's the most every man average insult every.
Exactly, pedestrian at best.
Pedestrian
and with that
at
being
best.
said, the Cardinals are 2-2, and they have.
Some grit and some heart.
They got D-Hop and they got Kyler Murray. He's still trying to figure it out.
Kenyon Drake is sucking ass in fantasy.
Yes, he is. But with that being said, they playing the Jets. Adam Gase. That's all I need to say. Adam Gase, this is how you alienate your superstars. You tell Le'Veon Bell as soon as you get him, before he ever plays the game, well, we really didn't want you. He hasn't endeared himself to the team. He's done nothing to make Sam Darnold better. Sam Darnold is still a great talent. I hope my Bears trade for Sam Darnold. Why? Because I know Sam Darnold don't have proper weapons.
Going that far.
Him. Oh, if the Bears traded for give up a 4th round.
Is he better than Trubisky?
Foles?
Yes.
Is he better than Trubisky?
Better than
yes.
Foles? I don't know.
Yes, he's better than Foles. If you give him the weapons, I guarantee you show you. I'm still on the Sam Darnold bandwagon.
All right.
I just believe he don't have the help. Name one receiver he got. Exactly. It's all right. I got you. If you can pick him up, pick up Jamison Crowder. He is actually a good fantasy
I had
wide
Crowder
receiver.
back when he was with the Washington football team a while back.
Jamison Crowder is a good receiver, but you can't name a tight end with Le'Veon Bell's hurt. You can't even name a running back. Matter of fact, do yourself a favor. There ain't one person on their defense. Some people said Jamal Adams. Wrong. He's on Seattle. Who can you name on their team? They have a nameless team. We play fantasy, and I only know about 6 people.
Don't they have Darren Lee from Ohio State? Is he still on the roster?
No, he was on the Kansas City Chiefs roster last year.
Shit.
So name somebody. Leonard Williams. No, he left. He went to the Giants. So who you got on their team? You got Adam Gase and Le'Veon Bell. That's all you got.
You got a couple years of high first round draft picks coming is what you got.
That's what you got. Well, with that being said, I think the Cardinals are going to go 3-2, right the ship. They look really good week 1. Then they had some off weeks where they lost 2 or 3. I'm saying they rebound. I got the Cardinals beating the Jets. Adam Gase will be on that hot seat. I figure November he'll be unemployed. Deuces.
All right, I'm taking Kyler Murray and the Cardinals also.
Next, we got the Battle of PA, the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh had this impromptu bye because they're supposed to play the Titans last week. So they had a little bit of extra time.
Week of rest.
And they fresh.
Playing the 1-win Eagles.
Yep, who leads the NFC East. Yes, they do. 1-2-1 gets you the NFC East. And I'm going to call it. I'm going to call my shot. Even though I know all the teams play each other, 8-1 gonna win that division. 8 wins if you lucky. It won't be a team that's 10-6 or 10-5-1. I just don't see it happening.
It ain't a real strong division.
No, it's not. It's some divisions are the have and the have-nots. And I believe that division is a have-not. You look at other divisions where everybody in the division has a winning record. I want to say, is that the NFC West? Yeah, the Rams and everybody, I want to say, are at least 2-2. The Seahawks, the Cardinals, and the 49ers.
Bears are 3-1.
That's a winning division. I'm talking about every team in that division has a winning record.
I just wanted to say the Bears are 3-1.
Yes, they are. Probably about to be 3-2. I picked it.
4-1.
No.
Gotta be thankful for the small things. Thankful for the small things.
I don't see
you think the Eagles are going to beat the Steelers?
No. Steelers had a week off that they probably didn't need. Definitely didn't want. Nobody likes to have a bye that early. You like to have it in between 7 to 10 games into the season so you can rest up. After 3 games and they were 3-0, just starting to get their groove. They'll face the Cardinals, which work. I mean, they'll face the Eagles, which works. The Eagles, man, I feel sorry for Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
Carson Wentz is a good quarterback, but you don't know if he can be great. Why? Jason Peters, IR. Lane Johnson just came back. Brooks,
Running for his
Dillard,
life all the time.
They have is Kels and Lane Johnson. When 3 of your 5 offensive linemen are hurt, you're going to take a lot of hits. So he takes a lot of hits. The reason why they beat San Fran didn't have no quarterback.
Yeah.
That's my quarterback. They didn't have one. Mullins isn't
Nick
as
Mullins
good
is no Brett Favre.
Is Jimmy G. No, he's not. He's not as good as Jimmy G, and you can only scheme so much.
Yeah, I'm taking the Steelers in this game.
Me too. I'm taking the Steelers.
Big Ben on a week's rest.
Yeah, which will help him. Next, we have the Los Angeles Rams and the Washington Football Club. I feel like that's almost like soccer.
Yes.
Like, you ever see one of those soccer teams?
FC,
the
yes.
Football Club. FC. Washington FC.
Maybe they should just call them
Washington
that, the
FC.
Washington Football
That's
Club.
what we're going to start calling them. Week 6 is the Washington Football Club. Washington FC. Washington is, look, man, Dwayne Haskins did throw for 300 yards, and they had some offense, but he looked fine and looked good, but their defense now. You got Iodonis. You got several people on that defense hurt. Although Fuller did have 2 picks, they still couldn't win, man. They 1-3. Like I said, no team in
You
that
think they
division.
can beat the Rams?
No, I don't see that.
Okay.
I don't see that happening. I just don't see that happening.
I can see him making some improvements this year, though. I can see Haskins.
Yeah, he looked good. I'm hoping he can have another 300-yard game. If you get a chance to pick him up in fantasy, or even a guy like Terry McLaurin, who's really good, I see that working out. I just don't see them as having enough. They back 7 isn't as stout as I'd like it to be. They determined to get pressure with their front 4, but their front 4 is a little loaded. Your best 3 players on defense, 3 of your 4 best players on defense are probably defensive ends, because you got Kerrigan, a Pro Bowler, Sweat, and then you drafted Chase Young. Your D-tackle, Matthew Iodonis, went on IR. I don't know if they said torn bicep or pec muscle or something like that. He's gone for the season. So all you got is them 3 and then Fuller on their defense.
Yeah.
But only 2 of the 3 start. Like, Chase Young beat out Kerrigan. So you got Chase Young and Sweat who starts. So when only 2 of your 4 best players start, you might be in trouble with 3 or 4. But they need to get more pressure. That's their only chance of winning this week against the Rams. But Washington, I think, is in trouble. I know the Rams' defensive line is dominant. Aaron Donald is just a handful.
Yeah,
he is a monster, and that's the worst type of pressure to get for a QB. Defensive ends do something, but if you got a decent tackle and they can push them back, you can step up in the pocket. But when the pocket collapses on you, then you got to start rolling out and start running into the defensive ends. So the worst thing you can do is have a dominant defensive tackle. The Rams have a dominant defensive tackle.
The most dominant defensive tackle.
And with that being said, I think they're going to make Haskins' life terrible for
miserable.
3.5 hours, and I got the Rams winning.
Yeah, I'll take the Rams on the road against the Washington Football Club.
Yep, Washington Football Club. Washington FC. Next, we got the Miami Dolphins and the San Francisco 49ers. Woo. Mama told me there'd be days like this.
Is Jimmy G coming back yet?
Who knows?
Does it matter?
No, not really. The reason why it doesn't matter is simple. The reason why it doesn't matter, I just don't see them having enough. I think Miami has shown a little bit to me from a standpoint. Miami showed a little bit to me. You got Parker. You got some other weapons. You got Gesicki out of Penn State. He's a good tight end. And I'm gonna go with a dark horse pick here. You got Jerome Baker from The Ohio State University on that Miami Dolphins team. I'm going to take the Dolphins over the 49ers.
I'm going to take the 49ers just because of their defense, and I don't think the Dolphins have enough weapons to overcome that defense yet. So I'm going to take the 49ers at home.
Me too. Next,
we're boring the hell out of Winston over here.
The New York Football Giants. And how about them Cowboys? The 1-3 Cowboys.
Them boys.
The 1-3 Cowboys. Did they win? They still gave
Odell
up 39
Beckham. Did you
points.
see Odell Beckham trolled him? Did you see his tweet after the game?
What did he tweet?
He said, "I just want to know, are you still them boys?" Ooh-wee.
No, they're not still them boys. You know why? Because that defense could punch his way out of a wet paper bag. Yes, I said it. I believe that the three of us could go play DB for them right now.
Probably.
No, all jokes aside, to make it to the NFL, you're an elite athlete. At some point, it is coaching and schematics. Sometimes you have to realize as a coach that your players are not understanding the concepts and the schemes that you are putting forth, and you have to make adjustments and make it where they can understand it or play to everybody's strengths. Like you don't get a whole bunch of man-to-man corners and start making them play zone. You just don't do it.
What you're saying is something ain't clicking.
What I'm saying is Ray Lewis got that defensive coordinator job because that's the last time I think he's at any type of a top defense. Because he hasn't. The defense is porous. The defense, look at it, think about it. In the last 3 games, 38, 39, 49. That's how many points you gave up.
It's not a good trend.
No, that's not.
So the Cowboys might actually get a W this week?
They playing the Giants without Saquon Barkley. It's a division game. I do see them riding the ship. But Danny Dimes going to have a big day. Matter of fact, if you have an unlimited fantasy league, every time you play the Cowboys or Falcons defense, load up on players from the other team who play those defenses. Because those defenses are poor. Those defenses are really poor. If I got a receiver playing the Dallas Cowboys, that's what I do. If Baker Mayfield would have been more accurate, and I watched that game, I got some cousins who are Dallas Cowboy fans as well as Cleveland fans. I watched that game. I looked at 4 to 5 dropped interceptions on Cleveland. Cleveland should have they should have had at least 66 points. They should have had another 17 on the board at least. Yes, I said it. They dropped 4 to 5 picks. Baker Mayfield overthrew OBJ on a touchdown pass down the seam. I mean down the sideline, and they dropped picks, like several picks. The game shouldn't have been that close. But this brings me up to my point that I wanted to say. Dak Prescott, if you got him in your fantasy, great. Dak Prescott numbers are amazing. In garbage time. Fantasy doesn't care about garbage time or not. But look, that score at one point was, what was it? 41 to 14 starting the fourth quarter. They were down 27 points before he started making his comeback. Yes, he threw for 500 yards, but he probably threw for 250 of them in the fourth quarter. When teams start playing
still count in fantasy.
Defense, it does count in fantasy. But when the score was tied 14-14, he had 5 drives where he only had 5 first downs. And he only threw for 50 yards in 5 drives when the score was 14 all. 5 drives, 53 total yards passing, 1 interception. No, 1 forced fumble. He didn't have the interception was later on to Denzel Ward out of the Ohio State University. But that's what he put up. So can you say when the game is on the line, he can do that? I don't think you can. I do believe he's a top 15. He's an upper echelon quarterback, top 16, but that defense is poor. Maybe if his defense was better, maybe he'd have a chance. Maybe he'd catch.
He's got weapons, so that'll explain. He's traditionally always had a good offensive line.
CeeDee Lamb looks really good. The issue is they right tackle. Collins got hurt. Then the right guard, I want to say, retired, or was it the center? He had some health issues, so he retired. So you lost 2 out of your 5 good linemen. 2 out of your 4 really good linemen. You got Collins and Tyron Smith. So, and I want to say you got they have good offensive linemen, but it's not as good as it used to be. Matter of fact, it probably will never be as good as they used to be because now you got to pay everybody. Amari Cooper, Dak, Ezekiel Elliott, Jalen Smith. You lost Byron Jones. You lost your best cornerback. You lost him because you couldn't pay him, and now you can't cover nobody because eventually your window to win is at its greatest when you draft great talent, which they have in their rookie contracts. But now everybody is coming out of their rookie contract. Zeke, Jalen Smith, both of them already been resigned. Dak franchised. So Byron Jones had the same rookie window, your rookie contract. Your 3rd or 4th year is when you're supposed to make that run. And they never made it. People blame Jason Garrett, but it's a culture thing there. I'm not sure if it's Jerry Jones or what, but the leaders on that team need to step up. There's no reason why in your last 3 games you average giving up 42 points a game.
Viewpoints is terrible.
Yeah, you're 1-3.
Sherman can't even respond it anymore.
Huh?
It's a Sherman's not even giving excuses anymore.
Yeah, there's nothing you can.
Yeah.
McCarthy's going to be on the watch. He's going to be on the. He's going to be on the block because the defensive coordinators definitely get fired. But after that, it is what it is. Next we got the Broncos and the Patriots.
Oh boy, the Patriots going to play?
Yeah, they just played.
Yeah, but is Cam sick? Is he? What's going on?
He's not going to play, and it's not going to be a good game. Both of them are down to their second or third quarterback because, as you see, Stidham got in because Brian Hoyer was playing marginal at best. So he, but I mean,
Which
that
is
just shows you how good.
a step above pedestrian.
Yeah, that just shows you how good Cam is. The fact that he's able to take all of that and make it work by himself. But that's what he did in Carolina. But the Broncos kind of have a similar problem because the Broncos are playing Brett Rippon.
Yeah,
they're starting him. They don't have a quarterback. I don't think Drew Lock is back yet. I know he's not back yet. So you got to battle a backup quarterback. So at that point, you got to go look at defenses. Who has a really good defense?
Patriots.
The Patriots have a really good defense. So with that, I'm still going to take the Patriots. Plus, it's at home.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Patriots. They got Bill Belichick.
They got Belichick. I believe Belichick, who he's going to make Rippon's life hell. Usually with younger quarterbacks, he does really well in making their life hell, like confusing them. And they just have a really good defense. Although I think they will try to run the ball with Melvin Gordon and maybe Noah Fant to catch the ball. I just don't think it's going to be enough. And with that said, I'm going to pick the New England Patriots to go 3-2 this week.
Yep, I'm in agreement. Taking the Patriots.
Next.
It's hard to bet against Bill Belichick.
Next, we got the Indianapolis Colts and the Cleveland Football Browns. The 3-1 Brownies.
3-1 Browns. Headed to the Super Bowl, I'm sure.
No,
Excitement abounds in Northern Ohio.
Yes.
The Browns have a winning record.
Yes. 4 games into week 4, they still got a winning record. And it'll be guaranteed for week 5.
Yeah, they'll have a winning record at least one more week.
The Colts has a really good defense.
They do.
But I don't know if the Colts can stop everything the Browns have. The Browns have one of the premier offensive line coaches in Callahan. When Dallas offense was going amazing, guess who was their offensive line coach? Callahan. Callahan is an amazing offensive line coach. He knows how to do a lot of stuff. He can teach multiple different techniques for running because you got man-on-man blocking and then you got zone blocking. That's the difference. And then you got different techniques for that. He really he's considered a premier offensive line coach. When you get him on the offensive line, usually your team takes off. And that's what Cleveland's doing. Cleveland formula is simple. We know we got Landry. We know we got Hopper. We know we got OBJ. We know we got Baker Mayfield. But now you know we got 4 running backs. And they ran for 307 yards. And I know OBJ had like 60 of them on getting the ball on 2 reverses or maybe at 70. But they still ran for another 230 yards with their running backs.
Do you think they can grind down the Colts defense?
Anytime you grind, and when you start grinding down a defenses don't like to be on the field for long. The best defenses are normally on the field for about 30, 32 minutes. What the Browns like to do is keep you on the field 37, 38 minutes. This is the equivalent of pulling you out to the deep end to see if you can still swim. That's what they're going to do. If they can keep the ball, keep the clock moving, I'm not sure if Chubb will be back. Kareem Hunt's a little bit banged up. So maybe the running game isn't what it's supposed to be. But I'm gonna ride with the Browns this week. I won with them last week. People thought I was funny or did something wrong when I picked the Browns over the Cowboys. And I stated my facts. I called it a shootout. And it was at the end. But I'm calling it again. The Cleveland Browns are gonna beat the Indianapolis Colts.
I'm gonna take the Indianapolis Colts because I think the defense is really good. Baker Mayfield is bipolar. The Cleveland Browns are still the Cleveland Football Browns. They've yet to string several good games in a row, even though they've had all this talent for a while. So I'm going to take the Colts. Plus, because I have some close friends that rave about the Browns all the fucking time, I'm kind of a Browns hater a little. I'm going to be a Browns hater this week.
Well, okay. But the one thing is, understand that Cleveland is one of the only football teams. They scored 49 points. I'm not even sure Baker Mayfield had 200 yards passing. But that's what happens when you got Jarvis Landry throwing a reverse touchdown, OBJ running for another touchdown, and then you run the ball for 300 yards. You don't need Baker Mayfield to be amazing. So picture if he's just a little bit better than the average game he played last week. He could put even more on the defense. They're starting to systematically do things the right way. They're running the ball, then they set you up play action, but it's a lot of bootlegs. They move in Baker's point, so he's not as easy to sack, and he can roll out, and it does cut off how far you can throw on the field when they roll you out left or right. You do cut off a portion of the field, but schematically, when they run the ball so much, if you fall for the fake, he's going to get some yards, and he's throwing a decent ball. He's not throwing great balls. He doesn't have great accuracy, but it's something he can work on. The main thing is the worst thing to do is take somebody who everybody's been hitting down on and give him some confidence. Cleveland Browns are growing in confidence.
We'll see.
And with that being said,
you won with them last week.
Yeah,
you're rolling deep now.
Yeah,
all right.
Next, we got the Vikings and the Seahawks in Seattle. 12th man, they bring in noise in.
Well, they're piping some noise in. They do have one of the best traditions.
Oh yeah,
raising the 12th man flag every game, and they're a fun team to watch. I predicted Russ Wilson to have an MVP like year this year, and he's not let me down. Leading my fantasy team.
Oh yeah.
And the Vikings are heading in the opposite direction.
They did just win, but it was against the Bill O'Brien fired Texans.
Yes, and it wasn't a pretty win.
But a win is a win. I'd rather win 16 games by 1 than win 10 games by 20 and lose 6 games.
That's a lot of math once again, but I think I buy your reasoning here.
So a win is a win.
I'm taking Seattle in this game. I'm sticking with Russ.
Here. I'm taking Seattle.
Russ is going to carry his MVP-like ways going forward.
Yeah, but I want to say there was a Kyle Rudolph sighting, which is good because they need more than 2 receiving options. They're going to try to run the ball with Dalvin Cook. I think this is going to be an ugly game. I feel like offensively this is kind of similar, probably not as much so as far as the Patriots and Seahawks, where they're just both teams are going to try to run the ball and play action.
A little, yeah.
And I believe on the outskirts, Seattle has better weapons and better quarterback play.
Definitely better quarterback play.
I'm going to take the Seahawks. But I believe it's going to be they're both going to try to pound each other out and then go from there. Next, we got the Chargers at the Saints. This is the Monday night game.
Monday Night Football.
Dun, 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 dun.
Is Drew Brees back?
Yeah. This is why. He worked with Emmanuel Sanders. If you can get Emmanuel Sanders or Traquan Smith in fantasy while Michael Thomas is out, he is definitely a person to get. But they did play the lowly Lions.
They did.
They played the lowly Lions, and this is what I'm talking about. This is how messed up the NFL is. Jim Caldwell needs a job if he wants one. Jim Caldwell had the Lions at no worse than 8-8 in 2 playoff games.
Wow.
And look at what Matt Patricia's done now. You know why you draft number 3? Why you get Jeffrey Okudah? You know why you get a person that high? Because you suck the year before. That's why you get a person that high. Caldwell had them in the playoffs and on the right track. And the management, the owners, the Ford family got upset, wasn't moving fast enough. So now you got a guy who was on the freeway going 65, and you're like, oh, that's not fast enough. I can't get from point A to point B fast enough.
That's the curse of the Bears, too.
Now you go ahead, you get Patricia, and he goes 70, wrecks the damn car.
The Bears did that to Lovey. Lovey went 9-7 and just missed the playoffs one year. And they fired him, and they hired Trussman.
Yeah.
And he was terrible. And then the rest of the history there. But
exactly. My point being is this: Caldwell was a good coach. I felt like he got ousted early. It wasn't like he had a Marvin Lewis plan or even a McCarthy plan where he had several years to just hang himself. For the talent he had, he was doing really well. I don't think they ever finished worse than 8-8. They were becoming respectable.
They were. They beat the Bears on Monday Night Football.
Look at the organization like the Steelers. How many coaching changes have the Steelers had in 40 years?
Three coaches.
Exactly. Why? Because they believe, hey, we're going to get this coach. We got faith in him. We understand you're going to have some up and down seasons, but as long as you are trying and at least winning.
They'll let a coach rebuild.
Yeah, we'll do this. And they had Stafford. They had good wide receivers, but they didn't have a dominant defense. And you tell Caldwell, hey, man, you got a good team, but you go 8-8, but that's not enough. Who are you? You're a perennial loser. You're one of the only teams.
I've got a philosophy about that.
You're a perennial loser.
Anytime somebody wants to oust the coach or the quarterback, my first question is, who are you going to hire to replace them? Because we always want to fire the coach. We always want to blame the quarterback, you know. But who are you going to hire to replace him? You fire Lovie Smith of the Bears. You know, he took the Bears to a Super Bowl. He took the Bears to the playoffs after that. He finished 9-7, a winning record, missed the playoffs by one game, and you fire him. Who are you going to hire to replace him? Some Canadian Football League coach, Tressman. And, well, the Bears weren't very good.
They should have kept Lovie Smith and probably forced Tressman to be the offensive
And they should have
coordinator.
kept Caldwell. And
they should have kept Caldwell.
So when you're looking to oust somebody, who are you going to get to replace him? That should be your first question.
They got Matt Patricia off that Belichick tree, which that Belichick tree doesn't bear fruit. The Belichick tree is not good at all. The Belichick tree, you know, everybody got their tree. This is not bearing fruit. It still grows, but it doesn't bear fruit. Ain't no peaches on that tree. Ain't no peaches on that tree. It ain't not.
Ain't a whole lot of playoffs either.
No, and it's not, because they're a perennial loser. Look at it. Your best two players retired early. Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson. They rather not play football than to keep playing under these situations and circumstances.
So who you taking, Chargers or Saints?
I'm taking Joey Bosa, whoever he plays for. I know who he plays for. He plays for the Chargers. That's what I'm going for. Although I think Hawkinson, who's my tight end, he's doing really good. And I don't believe this is all a Stafford problem. They got a pretty good offensive line. There's going to be some Buckeyes out there. You got Taylor Decker, who may go up against Joey Bosa, both from The Ohio State University. Jonah Jackson, Jeffrey Okudah. There's some Buckeyes in this game. I know I sound like a homer, but y'all not paying me.
And you're betting money at your own risk every week.
Yeah, you bet money at your own risk. If not,
congratulate us if you win. Send us a little tip if you want. Don't blame us if you fucking lose, man.
If you lose, it's because we didn't force you to put that money down. You did.
If you lose, remember, this is just for fun. Never for gambling purposes.
It's never for gambling. It never will be for gambling. I'm just fucking with y'all.
Not today. Not today, it ain't.
Oh, I got to give credit to our new sponsor, Nobody. But with that being said, put your money down in Vegas, hit and take your old lady out and do something special.
Put your money where your mouth is, crack a cold beer,
and
watch some football games. If it's not your old
lady, take your old man out and do something special. I don't care.
Sweetest Day's coming up.
You realize Sweetest Day is only in like 4 states.
I don't give a damn. I'm supposed to get a present, I think.
Yeah. Sweetest Day, ladies and gents, is in the Midwest. It goes so far to PA.
Completely a Hallmark holiday. It's made up.
It's made up by a Cleveland chocolatier who wanted to boost sales in the early 1900s. So it created this day called Sweetest Day. It's celebrated in Ohio.
It's like
Michigan,
Valentine's Day
Indiana.
for dudes.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like Valentine's Day for dudes. Although it has been taken, on a whole different context.
Yeah, I definitely buy my wife something every year.
And girls are still expecting $1 million gifts.
Of course they are.
With $2 WAP. And I better stop.
Oh, shit. BS and Viewpoints about to be lit.
Oh, yeah. About to have some fun, but that is my time to go.
18 days till the Buckeyes kick off.
Oh, yeah.
All right, that's our Week 5 picks. Thanks for tuning in.
Coronavirus.